Ardennes Forest, Belgium. 16th December, 1944. At 05:30 in the morning, the silence of the Ardennes was shattered. A rolling thunder of artillery, over 1,600 German guns, opened fire across a front stretching from Monschau to Echternach. Shells slammed into frozen earth and tree lines, detonating in white flashes against snow-covered ground. The air filled with the sharp, metallic crack of high explosives and the deeper concussion of heavy artillery. This was Unternehmen Wacht am Rhein, Operation Wacht on the Rhine, Adolf Hitler's last major offensive in the West. The objective was ambitious and desperate. Break through the thinly held Allied lines, seize the Meuse River crossings, capture Antwerp, and force a negotiated peace by splitting British and American forces. The Americans holding this sector were not expecting an attack. Many were green units. Exhausted veterans rotated out of the line, or support troops. The Ardennes was considered quiet. Snow and fog grounded Allied aircraft. Visibility dropped to meters. Roads froze solid. Radios crackled with incomplete reports. Within hours, German panzer divisions, supported by Volksgrenadier infantry, surged forward through gaps in the American defenses. At the center of the road network stood a small Belgian town. Bastogne, 18 to 19. December 1944. Bastogne was not important because of its size. It mattered because 7 major roads converged there. German armored columns needed those roads to move fuel, tanks, and infantry westward. Without Bastogne, the offensive would choke on its own logistics. On December 18th, Allied command reacted. The 101st Airborne Division, resting near Reims, France, was ordered to move immediately. Many paratroopers were on leave. Some arrived without winter coats. Trucks rolled through the night, headlights off, engines whining in the cold. By 19th December, elements of the 101st Airborne, supported by Combat Command B of the 10th Armored Division, dug in around Bastogne. Temperatures dropped below -20 degrees Celsius, -4 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow creaked under boots. Weapons metal burned bare skin. Breath froze in the air. They had no idea they were about to be surrounded. Encirclement. 20th December, 1944. German units tightened the noose. Elements of the Panzer Lehr Division, 2nd Panzer Division, and 26th Volksgrenadier Division advanced from multiple directions. Roads leading into Bastogne were cut one by one. By the night of the 20th of December, Bastogne was encircled. Inside the perimeter were approximately 11,000 men. Ammunition was limited. Food was rationed. Medical supplies were dangerously low. The wounded filled aid stations, schoolhouses, cellars, barns. Surgeons worked without adequate anesthesia. Plasma ran out. Morphine was scarce. Frostbite cases climbed daily. German artillery shelled the town relentlessly. Shells burst among rooftops and church steeples. Wood splintered. Brick dust mixed with snow. The smell of cordite, smoke, and frozen blood hung in the air. Every road out was under enemy fire. The cold was constant. Foxholes froze solid overnight. Men slept in shifts, stamping their feet to keep circulation alive. Socks stiffened with ice. Some rifles jammed from congealed lubricant. The standard American infantry weapon, the M1 Garand, was reliable, but magazines were precious. Each clip mattered. Machine gunners nursed .30 caliber Brownings, rationing belts. German MG-42s, firing at over 1,200 rounds per minute, tore through trees and walls with a sound American soldiers described as ripping canvas. Civilians hid in basements. Families huddled together as shells shook their homes. Cows and horses were slaughtered for meat. Wells froze. Churches became shelters. There was no heroism in the cold, only endurance. On the morning of the 22nd of December, white flags appeared. German officers approached American lines under truce. They carried a typed message. It was an ultimatum. The German commander demanded the surrender of Bastogne, citing overwhelming force and the hopeless situation of the encircled Americans. The message was delivered to Brigadier General Anthony C. McAuliffe, acting commander of the 101st Airborne. McAuliffe reportedly laughed. After consultation, he dictated a one-word response: nuts. The German officers were confused. An American staff officer explained, "In plain English, it means go to hell." The reply spread quickly through the perimeter. It did not change the situation, but morale, brittle and strained, hardened. Christmas Eve came without ceremony. No trees, no lights, no warmth. German artillery intensified. Shells landed at random intervals, denying sleep. Some men tried to sing quietly. Others stared into nothing. On the 25th of December, German forces launched coordinated attacks against the perimeter. Infantry advanced through the fog, supported by tanks. American bazooka teams waited until armor was dangerously close, sometimes within 30 meters, before firing. Some shots bounced harmlessly off sloped armor. Others struck true, filling the air with burning fuel and black smoke. In several sectors, German troops briefly broke through, only to be pushed back by counterattacks using everything available: rifles, grenades, machine guns, even captured weapons. Casualties mounted. Aid stations overflowed. Bodies froze where they fell. At midday on the 26th of December, the sound changed. From the south came the distant rumble of engines. Elements of General George S. Patton's Third Army, spearheaded by the 4th Armored Division, broke through German lines near Assenois, just south of Bastogne. A Sherman tank reached the perimeter. The siege was broken. Men cried openly. Others simply sat down in the snow, exhausted beyond celebration. Supplies followed quickly: ammunition, food, medical aid. Aircraft, grounded for days by fog, now filled the sky. C-47 transport planes dropped crates by parachute into the fields. The wounded were evacuated, but the fighting did not stop. Bastogne remained contested into January 1945. German attacks continued, but momentum was gone. Fuel shortages crippled armored units. Allied air superiority returned with clear weather. By the 16th of January 1945, American forces linked up fully, eliminating the Bulge in the line. The German offensive failed. The Battle of the Bulge became the largest and bloodiest battle fought by the United States Army in World War II. Over 600,000 American troops were involved. Approximately 19,000 Americans killed. German casualties exceeded 100,000. Losses they could not replace. Bastogne was devastated. Buildings lay in ruins. Civilians returned to shattered homes. Graves dotted frozen fields. The men of the 101st Airborne did not call it a victory. They called it survival. Bastogne was not won by brilliant maneuvers or cinematic charges. It was held by cold men with empty stomachs, frozen hands, and shrinking ammunition counts, who stayed because there was nowhere else to go. No speeches were heard over the artillery. No glory warmed the foxholes. Only the knowledge that if the line broke here, everything behind it would fall. And so, in the winter of 1944, surrounded in the snow, they held.